Here we are, 255 of the Basement Tapes, 1973-74, Topps basketball. This, I shouldn't be ashamed of any of my collection, but I'm ashamed to say I only have 4 of these. This is one of those that I'm supposed to be better about this in the 70s, but I guess they just don't pop up too much in my travels. Of course, you can seek anything out anywhere. Just doing a little adjusting here on the collection. You just have to look, right? And I don't get them in my massive collections or the mass collections that I buy, so perhaps I ignore them for too long. But I only have 4 of them, so apologies to everybody for that. Says there's 264 of them total at Beckett. Beckett also says they're $4.16 average value, 1,099.50 total value. That's 1,100 if you round that up. $200 to $500 for a complete set of these. 14 rookie cards, we're told, as well. So lots of information on Beckett about these. 73-74 Topps set of 264 standard size cards contains NBA players on cards numbered 1 through 176 and ABA players on cards numbered 177 to 264. Cards were issued in 10-cent card packs with 24 packs per box. All-star selections, first and second team for both leagues, are noted on their respective players' regular cards. Card backs are printed in green and red on gray cardstock. The backs feature year-by-year ABA and NBA statistics. Subsets include the NBA playoffs 62 through 68, NBA league leaders 153 through 158, ABA playoffs, we're talking playoffs 202 to 208, and ABA league leaders 234 to 239. The only notable rookie cards in this set are Chris Ford, Bob McAdoo, and Paul Westphal. Let's look at the top 3. According to Beckett OPG, the top 3 ranked in value cards are Wilt Chamberlain's number 80, Julius Erving's number 240, and a flurry of players in the third position with Jabbar, West, Maravich, and McAdoo all knotted up. Let's go over to TCDB and see what they have to say. Again, 264 cards. Pat Riley, wow. He's in the hallway between classes, it looks like. And he's got his outfit on with his basketball. He says, take my picture. I got to get to health class real quick. Teams depicted here are the Hawks, Bullets, Celtics, Buffalo Braves, Capitol Bullets, Carolina Cougars, the Bulls, the Cavaliers, the Dallas Chaparrals, Denver Rockets, the Pistons, the Golden State Warriors, the Houston Rockets, the Pacers, the KC Omaha Kings, the Kentucky Colonels, the Lakers, the Memphis Tams, the Bucks, the Knicks, the New York Nets, 76ers, Suns, Trailblazers, Spurs, the San Diego Conquistadors, Seattle Supersonics, Utah Stars, and the Virginia Squires. Hall of Famers, 67 of them, folks. They're all there. All those buttes from the 60s and 70s. Phil Jackson, Don Nelson, Jerry Sloan, all sorts of coaching and playing genius is there represented. The rookies, we said 14, so we'll go through them because it's not a lot. Henry Bibby, Kevin Porter, Steve Patterson, Chris Ford, Fred Brown, Paul Westphal, Lloyd Neal, Bob McAdoo, Ron Riley, Don Busey, Brian Taylor, not the Brian Taylor. This is Brian with an A. Mike Gale, George Irvine, and Jim Chonis are your rookies there. Inserts, we got some team stickers that I don't have, but perhaps I should get more into. Comments. There's one comment from Womp. Says the 1973-74 top set of 264 standard size cards contains NBA players. Womp, of course, is a habitual plagiarizer, so he took that from Beckett OPG. I won't bore you anymore. Womp, I'm going to swat your ass if you keep that stuff up. The basketball wax box is gorgeous. It's black. It's got a player jumping up for a ball or depositing a ball. I don't know whether it's a withdrawal or a deposit. 10 cents. Trading card, bubblegum, official team emblem sticker in each pack, trading card, bubblegum, NBA logo, and the NBA Players Association. Not quite sure why we don't have the Jerry West logo in there because I think they were using it at that time, but whatevs. Oblong boxes. So these are rectangular boxes for these wax packs. We would see that in a lot of these. The basketball wax pack wrapper is very interesting. It looks like a German handball player more than a basketball player. There's are some sausages wrapped around that basketball. Anyway, basketball official team emblem sticker inside. Curved T Tops logo, the one we love, with one stick bubble gum. You could get an official NBA head and wristbands on one of these wax packs. Let's delve into that. Keep perspiration out of eyes, off face, neck, and hands. Available in NBA team color of your choice with team symbol on wristband. Washable cotton elastic. Send $1 plus one basketball wrapper to box 7400 Westbury, New York, 11570. Include your zip code. Print clearly, for crying out loud. Void where prohibited, regulated, or taxed. So if you're subject to tax, which everybody is in our country, federal, state, local, all that stuff, you may not be eligible for this. So anyway, there's the wax or the rack pack, yada yada yada, of the Tops. Interesting little setup there. We got Wilt Chamberlain in there in the middle of one of them. So let's get into the gallery. Now, these are pretty conservatively designed cards compared to the previous years for basketball. And basketball was always an outlier because of the fabulous fashions and the various leagues still going at it with each other. So there was different color basketballs in each league, different color uniforms, obviously. There was even some shenanigans with the Denver and the Houston Rockets names, all that fun stuff. So what we're seeing here, card number 1, Nate Archibald. The backs are red, green on gray cardstock, as we've learned before. There's all sorts of information on the back, cartoons, vital stats, biographies, career stats, and a plethora of small print at the bottom. So we'll get to these in a minute. Johnny Mengelt. Anyway, not quite sure why so many pictures were taken in front of cinder block walls, but that seemed to be the sign of the times there. Dave Wall has a great classic portrait there. Looks like either Edgar Allan Poe or John Wilkes Booth. But either way, I'm sure he got stopped on the street a lot for questions regarding poetry or assassination and all that stuff. John Brisker is in the gym, I think, practicing. Charlie Davis, again, he's between classes too. Lamar Green, interesting shot there. You actually get Lamar Green and his shadow. His shadow goes everywhere with him, apparently. There are some in-action shots on the court, but we have subliminally catapulted the cinder block market into the stratosphere here. Because if you didn't want cinder blocks before these cards, I'm sure you asked your parents to put some cinder blocks up in your room so that you could pose like Fred Hilton. Or Toby Kimball is that serial killer material there. Tony Kimball on card 37. Let's read about Tony or Toby right here. First of all, that's a name that only a serial killer would have, right, Toby? Front of the card, white bordered. There is a smaller colored band between that and the photograph, and then a white border between that band and the photograph as well. There's a net at the bottom of the left with a basketball descending into it that has the player's position. In Toby's case, he's a forward. Toby's team name is the Kings, and it says that across the bottom, and below that is Toby Kimball, serial killer extraordinaire. So Toby played 1 year of basketball in Italy, so that's his cartoon. And of course, if he was probably fleeing an investigation, so he had to get out and play some basketball over there overseas for a while till things cooled down. Toby Kimball, forward, card number 37. He's 220 pounds, 6-something. Let's see here. Drafted number 3 in 1965, born in 1942, 9/23/42. School was Connecticut, I believe, and his home is in Fordham, Mass, I believe. A 7-year veteran of the NBA, Toby was the third-round draft choice of the Celtics in 1965 after he led nation's collegiate rebounders as a senior at Connecticut with 21 per game average. Originally a center, for the past 5 seasons, he's been used mainly as a forward. So It's got his all his stats there for Boston, San Diego, Milwaukee, KC, Omaha. And the bottom says copyright 1968 NBPA, 1969 NBA Properties Inc. The club insignias depicted are the property of the respective clubs. Copyright TCG, printed in USA. There's one asterisk there. Toby Kimball, everybody. Hope all his appeals work out for him. NBA All-Star Dave Cowan has him in action against the Knicks, probably at the Garden, one of the Gardens, right? And a headshot of him, a floating headshot of him as well. So we don't see a lot of floating heads in the basketball cards, but they resurrected them for this. Anyway, Cazzie Russell, cool looking card there. I'm inspired. I'm inspired not by this design, but I'm inspired by the poses here to try to go out and get this. The hair was tall, the socks were tall, the shorts were short, all that fun stuff. So not the most artistically creative set by Topps, especially in the 70s, where sometimes the 70s lacked all creativity. I'm talking to U79 Topps baseball, but it captures the moment, and that's kind of what I'm all about. There's the checklist: baby blue on the front, pink on the back. Rockets, Houston Rockets, Jack Marin has a nice shot there at center court. Not sure what gymnasium that is, but practice gym perhaps. But I'm inspired to get some of these because I love the poses on here and some of the kind of like caught in the act, like Mahdi Abdul Rahman. He looks like he was woken up and snapped a picture before gently laid back down for slumber. Pete Maravich, nice little all-star card there. Howie Comives. Comivies. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but that's fun to say for sure. Anyway, that's the 1973-74 Topps basketball. I have woefully underrepresented these in my collection, so don't be surprised if I come home with a big old set of these strapped to the hood of my Jeep and with some ear tags or whatever the heck you hunters call that stuff. Anyway, Basement Tapes number 255. Cheers.